High-quality gear and accessories, we've got everything you need with prices to fit every budget. It's our new, more customer-friendly site with fast shipping and unbeatable quality. All kinds of items to give as gifts to the bass fishing fan in your life or stock up on options for yourself. The goods you need to elevate your bass fishing game and rep your Bassmaster pride. See Bassmaster.shop to check out the latest deals and hottest trends at the all-new Bassmaster online store.
Officially the first event of the second half of the season, the sixth stop of 2025 Progressive Bassmaster Elite Series. Welcome into the Bassmaster Halftime Show presented by Bass Cat Boats. And yes, under all those trees is a fishery, and that fishery we are fishing here this week. The Sabine River, a winding, twisting body of water that is ever growing, and the one thing that doesn't seem to grow here is the fish so far. What a different tournament we have this week compared to last week. Obviously, Lake Fork, we threatened the biggest winning weight ever. Didn't break that record, but we may break another record here this week, which is the lowest winning weight, but a compelling tournament nonetheless, Kyle Jesse.
Absolutely. I mean, you guys have talked about it all morning on live. I mean, despite the size of the fish at the Sabine River, it makes for an interesting tournament. You know, making long runs, maximizing your areas close by, you know, fishing around other competitors. Obviously, I think we're going to see a lot of that this week. The Sabine River, despite the lower weights, is always a super fun tournament. And look, there's got to be a challenge. I mean, not every lake is Lake Fork. Not every bass angler out there gets to fish a lake like Lake Fork. So I think this is relatable to a lot of the fans, and how can you not enjoy this?
Well, the part I'm going to enjoy, you see that green behind us? That's going to be replaced with thousands and thousands of people. The record crowds happen right here in Orange, Texas. But let's get caught up with the action off the water with our Yamaha midday report and kick things off with the wily veteran, Mark Menendez.
You always expect Mark Menendez to do well at a body of water like this. Old school fishing, you know, he is so used to being able to maximize an area, slow down. You know, you hear him talk about that all the time in Florida, you know, when fishing around other competitors. I think that, you know, Mark Menendez is always going to be a guy that you have to keep your eye on when you get in these shallow water grinder style tournaments. You know, you guys talked about his Dardanelle win just a handful of years ago, and you know, that's exactly what he did there. Found an area to himself, and you know, Mark Menendez getting off to a pretty decent start this morning.
Bo Browning said he was looking forward to this event. Wants an old school grinder? Well, congrats, Bo. Here you go.
Yeah, be careful what you wish for. Yeah, I think he's doing well this morning, obviously. Certainly no stranger to this style of fishing in Arkansas. You know, the Arkansas River, Millwood, some of the places in Arkansas fish very similar to this. You know, obviously we know Stephen Browning, his dad's career has been widely successful when fishing rivers, so definitely going to keep an eye on Bo Browning.
He's not the only guy with a dad that does good in pro fishing, but his dad does great in walleye tournaments. But Jay Securit, leading Progressive Bassmaster Angler of the Year, and it seems he just catches bass at will this year.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like there's nothing that can stop Jay Securit at this point. You know, that 3-pounder that he caught, you know, to that point in the day on live, we really hadn't seen anything over, you know, 1.5 pounds, really. And then Jay Securit, obviously your Progressive Bassmaster Angler of the Year leader, catches that big one there and gets off to a great start, currently sitting in second place as you see there. And yeah, I mean, when you got the momentum, you got it, and there's nothing that can stop it.
Said his 3-pounder was like catching a 10 on Lake Fork, and it sure is. I mean, this fishery is tough, but I mean, it always turns into a very compelling tournament. And the crazy thing to think of is Jay Securit, this was the event that many people said, you know, his charged to win Angler of the Year. This is the fishery that could hurt him. It does not seem to be hurting him at all.
Well, that's just it. You know, when you get to the end of the season, you obviously want. Like we'll check in with Jay Securit here.
Me, so. We need a mid-1.
Think things change during the day here? Do you have to adjust here, or you just keep fishing the same?
Yeah, I mean, they're definitely going to change a little bit. I feel like the fish will start relating a lot more to shade. I can probably run a lot of shade places. Just if you're going down a bank, you can kind of see, like right now with the sun, it's kind of all shade, you know. It's not like you can really pinpoint the fish where they're sitting. So that should change them up a little bit, and then just got to put it in front of that one. It's the same deal. I have got the one, which is awesome, but us fishermen are kind of greedy, so I want another one now.
Isn't that the way? I mean, you just want one, and then when you get, I would like more of that. You know what I'd like more of? I'd like to know more of baits that are going to play in this tournament, our Bass Pro Shops top tackle. And Kyle Jesse, you've done some crack research for me, I imagine.
Absolutely. Going back all the way to 2017, there's a Bassmaster Open here at 2017. We'll have a guest that was a prominent factor in that tournament later on. But 2018, 2022, and 2023, we're taking a look right there at the top baits that showed up in the Bass Pro Shops top lures galleries. Number one, obviously a Texas rig creature bait. Seems like just about everybody inside the top, 6 that were, all the 6 of the anglers we have on camera have factored in a Texas rig creature bait of some sort, a smaller brush hog style bait, compact. Obviously, I think that's one of the things that you see a lot here at the Sabine River, smaller baits. Number two, which we're really hoping for by the end of the tournament. It seems like we have tried to will this into existence every tournament that we've gone to this point, but a frog. It's certainly been a factor in, just about every single Elite Series tournament we've had here. We've seen, a handful of anglers have massive success on a frog. Number three, finesse worm. It seems like everywhere we go, obviously a stick bait is going to be a prominent player. We see it rigged a lot of different ways here. Last year, Brock Mosley had a lot of success power shotting, basically a Yamamoto Cinco, like a smaller one. We definitely see smaller Texas rig finesse worms, a lot of different applications for that bait, but always a player here at the Sabine River. And a spinner bait. We've seen a handful of guys this morning. Bo Browning. Yeah, Bo Browning, Mark Menendez using an inline spinner. I mean, definitely see some old school tactics here. If that's what you're into, you're definitely going to see a lot of it here at the Sabine River. But as you heard Bo Browning talk about earlier on live, he's using a more compact spinner bait, smaller blades, smaller profile. Certainly been a popular one here over the years. And of course, anytime you're on a river system, you always have to have a shallow water crankbait. This, obviously a square bill. We always see a balsa bait seem to, work out really well here. I'm imagining by the end of this tournament we will see that again. But yeah, here at the Sabine River, those have been, over the course of time, your Bass Pro Shops top tackle.
Great stuff right there. And, there's a lot of the fishing world that is excited to see spinner baits, crankbaits, a lot of that old school. This is kind of a throwback Bassmaster event and a great challenge. And I love seeing Jay Shakurit, our current leader in Progressive Bassmaster Angler of the Year. I love seeing him show the world that, hey, I got a few more arrows in my quiver.
Absolutely. I mean, by the end of the season, that's really what you want. Whoever wins Progressive Bassmaster Angler of the Year, you want them to have proved from day one of the season all the way till the final day that they were versatile, any type of fishery, any body of water. And obviously, so far, that's what we're seeing with Jay Shakurit here at the Sabine River.
Watching Bo Browning live.
That's crazy. JT and Trey have not fished outside of a mile from each other all year, I'm pretty sure. I mean, everywhere you see one of them, there are other ones in there with them. Yeah. Short.
Bo Browning, I was talking about JT McKinney and Trey McKinney and JT Tompkins. Team fishing is definitely a thing on the Elite Series. Anglers are allowed to share information, and some people love that, some people don't love it, but it's part of the sport now.
And it's not for everybody. There's plenty of guys that would rather not do that because sometimes you kind of get spun out, spent in the wrong, sent in a wrong direction. And it's obviously been said forever, but it's hard to catch somebody else's fish. If your practice partner, travel roommate, whatever you want to call them, gets on a pattern that you're not comfortable with. I mean, that's a lot of times not a good thing.
Obviously cause for big debate because we have had information rules violated this year, but anglers are allowed to talk to each other, competitors. If they weren't, they would have nothing else to talk to each other about while they room together. Because if you take fishing away, most of these guys don't have a lot to talk to each other about.
It is remarkable how many of these guys really don't have any other hobbies. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. You know, obviously they take their job very seriously, as they should. But, yeah, I don't know what else they would talk about.
A lot of ums. So the weather's nice, huh?
They would probably resort to talking about crappie fishing or some other sort of fishing. Yeah, I had the opportunity to talk to Bo last night, and you could definitely tell he was excited to not be fishing a place where it was going to take well over 20 pounds a day to qualify for semifinal Saturday.
Sounds strange to even think that. Mental part of this game is a big part, especially in events like this, and Bo is definitely prepared for that. But we got big stuff coming up. We got T-Roy joining us when we come back, local expert, and always a good time to hang out with. We'll have buying and selling, and we will continue to cover the action. Bassmaster Halftime Show. We will catch you up and keep you up with everything going on the Sabine River.
Professional angler Jason Christie knows the performance and feel of a reel in his hands is very important. And that's why he designed the new Spro JC Elite and JC Elite MG Baitcast reels to achieve both of those goals. The reels have 4-gear ratios for any technique, and the frame of each reel is the same size. So no matter which speed you use, they feel the same. 9 bearings, long casting, and loaded with power. Give the JC Elite and JC Elite MG a try this season.
It's definitely a lot colder today.
Man, I really need to make this cut.
I need to make up points quick.
Positive mental attitude.
I hope they stay where I found
Are
them.
they even pulling water?
Too far. I hope nobody else.
Man, it's too windy.
The water's too high.
Avco, keeping you comfortable on the outside, no matter how you're feeling on the inside.
25 years as a touring professional, I have depended on Gamakatsu my entire career to produce the sharpest and the strongest hooks. Known as a power fisherman, but yet if you're going to survive as a tour level pro, finesse is becoming more and more popular, regardless if we go north or we go south. So when you're choosing a hook, choose Gamakatsu. They have one for every technique and every body of water that you fish on.
Lights, sonar, action. Tired of waiting? See more action with world-class fish finders and sonar from Lowrance. Discover the hidden gems and pristine waters of Tennessee's Bill-Dance signature lakes. Conveniently located throughout Tennessee, there's a signature lake near you, covering all regions of the volunteer state, all endorsed by the legendary Bill Dance himself. Whether it's a weekend getaway or an extended vacation, create timeless memories at Tennessee's Bill Dance signature lakes. Plan your trip.
As a professional fisherman, every decision I make is to win.
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 The boat I drive,
The baits I throw,
The gear I wear.
I do it to win.
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 Because when I'm on the water, I want to be the best.
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 That's why.
That's why.
That's why.
That's why
we
wear the best.
Bass fishing fans, the ultimate destination for Bassmaster merchandise is here and better than ever with an all-new Bassmaster online store. From exclusive apparel to high-quality gear and accessories, we've got everything you need with prices to fit every budget. It's our new, more customer-friendly site with fast shipping and unbeatable quality. All kinds of items to give as gifts to the bass fishing fan in your life or stock up on options for yourself. The goods you need to elevate your bass fishing game and rep your Bassmaster pride. See Bassmaster.shop to check out the latest deals and hottest trends at the all-new Bassmaster online store.
Another week, another tournament, but this one very different than Lake Fork. Welcome into the Bassmaster Halftime Show presented by Bass Cat Boats. And we are hanging out here in beautiful Orange, Texas, and that green field behind us, that will turn into a sea of fishing freaks because this part of the world loves bass fishing, and this guy loves bass fishing. T. Roy Bassard, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
This body of water is a challenge, so much so that you spent a little time rescuing some of our anglers in pre-practice.
That's every time since y'all been here. It's 1 or 2 or maybe 5.
So how bad, I mean, obviously Kyle Patrick was the guy who I saw stuck really bad. How bad was he stuck?
On a scale of 1 to 10, 12.
Really?
He was not getting out. It was like, he had a scenario where I was the option, so we got him out.
You came around the corner in that airboat like Pamela Anderson. It was like watching Baywatch.
Well, that's really got a Yamaha inside that LS case.
I gotcha.
It can run that stuff.
Gotcha.
His Yamaha, he just didn't really want to run it hard enough. He'd have made it if he just kept going. It's a tough motor.
Don't ever avoid an opportunity to drop a sponsor plug. We appreciate that here on the Halftime Show. But another thing that we do here is buying or selling. Kyle, Jesse, what are we buying or selling here this week?
Yeah, so got to talk to the anglers yesterday. As soon as they came off the water, I'm going to give you 3 quotes, all right, T-Roy and Mercer, and you guys are going to tell me if you're buying it or selling it. And starting off, Patrick Walters said it's going to fish even smaller, even though we have more water to fish. T-Roy, you buying or selling that?
But
why so? Tell me why.
This place is like 4 different areas. You have the Sabine, you have the Natchez, you have Taylor's, you have Hildebrandt, and you have, if you go all the way to Clear Lake. Right now, we've had a lot of things happen at one time. We've had a big rain. There's been a flood in Toledo Bend. Toledo Bend feeds the Natchez. The Sabine. Rayburn, the Natchez comes down another area. Then you have the Taylor's Chain, which is the drainage of Beaumont. And then you have a totally different thing over in Clear Lake. Right now, it looks like the tide's going out the Natchez, but the wind is keeping it up, and it's just filtering back into the marshes on the lower end. And so the fish don't know what's going on right now. They can't understand it, so they're just getting out in places that you can't get to. Now, the other areas, probably where the majority of the field is, that's the least impacted area. And you're going to see the winner and probably the top 10 come from there. Maybe 1 or 2 outside that have areas to themselves. But I'm buying it. He's correct.
Okay. Mercer, you buying it?
I'm 100% buying for all the reasons that T-Roy just dropped.
No more explanation needed. Number 2, Chad Pipkin said it's going to take 39.5 pounds to win. We're going for an all-time low record. You think it's going to be that low? You buying it or selling it?
I'm going to sell it.
Okay. It's going to be over, you think?
I think so.
Okay. Mercer?
I'm going to sell it. I'm going to sell it because I have to MC the weigh-in, so I'm hoping that I can sell on that. And with what we've seen today so far, trust me, this is going to be tough. But from what we've seen, as limited a view as we have, we got 6 cameras out there, and for what we've seen so far, I'm going to say we're over that.
Yeah, I'm gonna sell that as well. I think we're going to see over. I think by the end of the weigh-in today, we're going to have some surprises. Obviously, a lot of guys not on Bass Track so far. So last but not least, Brandon Lester said, all the fans that are running an old school grinder are about to get it. Maybe the easiest buying or selling of all time. You buying it?
I'm buying it with everything I got. I buy 2 of them.
Mercer?
100% buying. Clearly, we are seeing that play out.
Yeah, that has certainly been the case, and that is buying or selling here at the Sabine River.
Got our eyes on Mark Menendez.
This stretch right here looks like Venice with all these elephant ears in here. Lots of elephant ears down at Venice, or used to be anyway. Well, it's just been a little bit of efficiency. Feel good to get 3 real quick, and then now we're going to have to scratch and claw to get our next one. But I'm very happy with that. They're just decent little old fish. Going to take some tactics changing here on bait presentation or size sinker or whatever as this tide keeps coming in. We're getting away from the better tide, but you just put your head down and get in an area and fish till quitting time, and that's what you got to do here.
How much weight do you think?
You know, if you average 11, 12, that's what it always takes. And it may even be less now because fishing's so darn tough. It may take less. It normally takes about 14 to get a check. I think we'll be less than that just to get a check, because so many of the fish are just not accessible to us because they're all up in the woods and you can't get to them. And it's really adverse conditions for what we've got going on. If the river was normal pool, everything would be the same. It would be, you know, 13 a day to win, 13 to 14 a day to win, and, you know, 7.5 to make a check. But I think we're on a tough side of that right now.
Well, look at that watercolor. You can tell you're in the swamp.
Absolutely. It's actually not as bad as it looks. It's just a little tannicky. That's good water he's in.
Interesting to see how much current was flowing through there, too. When he was on that bend, you could tell it was really coming around there pretty good.
These tougher events always seem to play well for veterans like Mark. And I think it's just simply because you have to be through one of them. Like, it's really easy to come here, especially coming from Lake Fork. Let's just look, like, be realistic from what these anglers left to they're here, and it's real easy to get caught up in the dock talk and the, you know, it's hours between bites in some situations. It's a tough, but I feel like you almost have to go through that until you get to the other side and you're like, yeah, somebody did win $100,000 and, you know, they did hoist that trophy. And then second, third, and more times you come, you just realize, hey, this is another opportunity.
We talked to John Cruz a few years ago on the podcast, I think previewing this tournament, maybe in 2021. And, you know, that's one thing he talked a lot about was, like, if you can just stay mentally strong in a tournament like this, you have like half the field beat, because before the tournament ever even starts, there's, you know, always guys that are already, you know, just down on everything as far as the fishing is concerned. But if you can just stay mentally strong, definitely gives you a massive upper hand. And like you said, those veterans tend to do that very well.
Over to Bo Browning.
I gotta say, this might be the longest I've ever seen Bo fish shallow and not throw a chatterbait. I mean, he is stuck with that spinnerbait, it seemed like, all morning.
I noticed that on the list, too. Why do you think a spinnerbait plays here more than a chatterbait?
Just chatterbait. I was just fixing to say he's going to catch one on that knee.
Well, you should have said it.
Chatterbait tends to get hung up a little more.
Yeah.
And there's the cypress knees, you know, and every time you hit a cypress knee, that's 16, 17 bucks gone. Spinnerbait's pretty weedless. I like a chatterbait, but here a spinnerbait, swim jig, something that doesn't get hung up. Because it's hard to get you can't get to the bank to get it undone. Your trolling motor's going to hit the knees. A lot of people don't understand what's under the water right there. You can see one knee, but there'll be 20 or 30 a foot down because the water's high. And those fish get up in there and they sit in those knees.
He told me last night, whenever I had the opportunity to talk to him, that he was going to keep it very, very simple as far as game plan's concerned. You can certainly see that. Only, 4 rods on the deck hooked up again.
Same knee. If you watch these guys, they're gonna end up keying on points like that, and just about everybody that's going to catch them. Straight stretches are not going to have them right now. It's just a current. Everything's got a little current right now. That system normally has no current. That's a lock. It has locks, and the only time there's current is when they let water out. And these guys have probably noticed it, but right now they leave those locks open during the tournament so they can come and go, and that water's just going to all day. It's going to go out. It's something we don't see because those locks stay closed, but it does help the fishing.
I've heard anglers mention that we've had a lot of wind during pre-fish, and they said that has messed with the tide. What does that mean? It's not allowing the tide to go out, so to speak. It's like I said, it's coming down the river from the flood, and it's meeting the wind. And about right before it gets to Sabine Lake, it's starting to filter in the marsh. It's still coming out the main river like here, but it's going out into the marsh rather than out to the Gulf. Gotcha.
That wind's been for a week blowing like this.
Watching Bo Browning, boy, he sure looks comfortable in this environment.
He's about to catch another one.
Yeah,
if you don't catch another one, I'm going to have a talk with him. Make me look bad.
I mean, much like all the young guys, the rookies, he's very good with his electronics, but I mean, if you ask him, this is what he'd prefer to be doing.
Well, top our leaderboard, you can see Carl Jacobson, 8 pounds, 8 ounces, our current leader in Progressive Bassmaster Angler of the Year points. Jay Shakura in second place. Dakota Ebert, big day at our last event, but fell off after that. But I'm predicting his first top 10 of the season here this week.
What a time to be live. Humminbird's new Mega Live 2 forward-facing sonar is your front row seat to every epic catch, unfolding as it happens with more clarity than ever before. Decipher between dinks and diamonds in the brush. Choose between 15 color palettes and 3 views. Zero in with enhanced bait tracking and marvel at all the jaw-dropping detail. New Mega Live 2. Next-gen clarity, next-level fun. Only with Humminbird.
When you're looking at a V.A.S.S, you're looking at the amazing weld job, the attention to detail, but you don't really understand how well this thing's built until you get behind the wheel and take it on the water. This boat, when you ride in it, you forget that you're an aluminum boat. It rides so smooth, it's so solid. I mean, you wouldn't even know it's aluminum. But man, just the fishability, being able to weave in and out of docks, go a little bit shallower, and that's really what makes it an impressive machine.
And now your action weather broadcast. We've got shifting weather conditions on the horizon. Expect high winds, scattered thunderstorms, cold fronts, and dense fog. It's a wild one out there.
Toyota Trucks. Let's go places.
This is the Quick Cube.
Quick Cube.
The Quick Cube.
The Quick Cube. The durability is my favorite thing about a Quick Cube. You can flip through them like a filing cabinet.
The clear window on these, I know exactly what's in there.
And I love this bag. I've got a bunch of them.
You know, if you want to squish them in a little bit, it's no big deal. That zipper is watertight, floats. I can just drop it right in the water, and then I can pull it right back out again, and it's totally dry on the inside.
We believe in bass fishing, but we believe in bass catching even more. We make products for hardcore anglers. We design, build, test, and redesign until it's right. We cut our teeth on 15-pound fluoro and 30-pound braid. We only admit to bleeding when we get bass thumb. We're here for serious anglers. We are serious anglers because those of us that earn this badge are untouchable. We are Bass Mafia.
Welcome into Orange, Texas. Welcome into the Bassmaster halftime show presented by Bass Cat Boats. And that maze down there, that is where our anglers are competing, and it is a long, winding, turning maze that continues to grow and shrink depending on where you are on that body of water. But looking up that river, that's a great idea of just how deep into the marsh our anglers are fishing. And you saw some of the pre-fish pictures. I mean, guys were bushwhacking. But a guy who probably, you know, could just catch him right here. I mean, because he seems to catch him everywhere this season. Your current leader in Progressive Bassmaster Angler of the Year points, Jay Shikuret.
If you look at his demeanor, he's real calm. He's like he's got this. You know, the way he's fishing, he's not nervous. He's catching them.
I don't think I've ever seen him nervous.
Look at that.
Get in here. Barely pinned. This is number 5. That's got to be a pound and a half. Yeah. There we go. Pound and a half. Calls out my 1 pounder. He was just a little fatter. Little trade. If he was more of that size. Heck yeah. Alright, there we go. Giants. That was a good one. In the weirdest spot too. Way up against that bank. Just all that good looking stuff and then catch it on the probably the worst looking stuff.
Joined by T-Roy. And T-Roy, he's going through a good number of fish. Is this the kind of fishery that he needs to start managing them?
I would say that I said it before this thing that you're going to see a lot of this. It's going to be the same range of fish, pound to 2 pound, 2.5. The guy that comes in and comes across a 5 or 6 pounder, he's going to be the one at the top because you're going to see, like you see now, the weights are so stacked. It's been fishing this way. These local tournaments, it's the same thing. Whoever gets that one kicker is going to just win it. You know, it's whoever gets that one big kicker, whether it's day 1, 2, 3, or 4, they're going to be at the top. As long as they get limits like this, it's going to be the difference.
Hooked up again?
I mean, he's just every cast now. The sun's coming out. It's setting up exactly the way it should. That's going to help him again.
Come on. Two and a half.
Oof.
Calls out number 1. Gives me 10 pounds.
Are we talking about double digits?
Some said it couldn't be done.
Well, there's some big fish in this system. You know, there was a little talk about a state record, a 6-pound state record. That might be the one recorded, but I've caught 2 over 8, several 7s, 6s, you know, over the years. A fella caught one in the Sabine here a couple years ago. Justin Royal caught a 10-pounder over here, and it was after they had a big flood in Toledo release. There's some big. I mean, there's big fish out there, far and few between. That's why I said the person that catches a 5, 6-pounder better watch out. He's gonna be hard to beat.
T-Roy, somebody catches a 10-pounder, and I'm gonna make a mess of that stage.
Any cast, it could happen on any cast. Any one of these guys could come across that, and that would be the, you know, you could be in, right now you could be 0 and catch 1 fish, you're in the lead if you caught a 10-pounder. Do I think that's going to happen? Probably not, but it could.
You built me up just to drop me back down.
Don't owe you that.
Watching Mark Menendez. He's caught a decent number of fish here today. His problem has been keepers. He's gone through a bunch of 11.5 inchers.
There you go.
That's better, maybe. Snagless Sally? Or has he gone spinnerbait?
Take a fellow like this. This is his wheelhouse right here. He's seen it all, done it all. He knows what to do.
Damn close.
Ooh.
He is mashed, and he catches it.
I believe he made it.
That's touching, and his mouth is mashed. This one more time.
He's bumped it a couple times.
That's a 5er.
There you go.
That's a 5er. How about that? All right. So we've got 5 of them little fellas. And that's a big deal. That's a big deal in my world. And we'll have to do the rest of it come next. Pretty good deal to get you 5. I'm happy about it. Know that. Got that little fella with a bit of spinnerbait. Well, now we can fish. Now the pressure's off. Now we can just fish. pound. Yeah. What's that? What will that make my total? 6? Be great. That'll be great.
Number 5 for Mark Menendez. And had to do a little manipulating, a little spinning to make sure that. So he's hoping that he's not bringing that back in, but just knowing that you got 5 in the box, a major relief here in this body of water.
Absolutely. And there's still plenty of time, you know, but you never know. I mean, you can go all day and not get a bite, or you can go half a day and not get a bite, and all of a sudden, you know, we've seen Jay, he's every cast, so it just depends on what area you're at. They'll get biting at one area they're not. That's why this whole thing is 4 different areas, like 4 different bodies of water, and it just depends on the wind, where you're at.
Is that you? No. I mean, no, yours is much faster than that. I mean,
no, that's a surface drive.
I mean, I bet you know that guy.
I might.
You told me this could get better each day.
I think so. You know, the flood water coming down the Sabine is going to slow down. If the wind, I think, is supposed to slow down, but I love it. This is awesome when you guys come down here.
We love having you here. Looky there, a new leader atop our leaderboard, 9 pounds, 14 ounces. We thought he hit double digits, but just shy of it. Unofficial weights, obviously the Maxim Tire Bassmaster leads Sabine River. Carl Jacobson in second. Awesome to see him in a 2-way tie with Chris Zaldane. And don't forget about Dakota Ebear.
Since 1975, PH Marine has been the leader in boat parts and accessories, powering every journey on the water. From trim handles to jack plates, we've built a legacy that keeps you running strong. PH Marine, built for life on the water.
There's a big one in the reeds ahead. I know it. He doesn't care who I am, what titles I have, how many blue trophies I got, that I've fished since I could walk, or that I've spent countless hours on the water for this moment. It's me versus the fish, and I like to win.
Introducing Live Ops from Nomad Design. Equipped with our all-new adjustable technology, allowing you to insert tungsten balls to unlock hundreds of rigging options. Control the action, control the sink rate, and increase your bait's visibility on forward-facing sonar. Dial in your own finesse approach and stand out from the rest with Live Ops.
So we're not all professional anglers. We don't all compete on the biggest stage. But inside us all burns the same fire to be a champion. It's why you get out early, brave the toughest conditions, point the bow toward adventure and put the hammer down. For whatever trophy or fish or memory you're chasing, count on a Mercury Pro XS outboard, engineered to deliver the speed and reliability you need to power the champion inside you.
The newest addition to the Flashpoint line, the D version.
Having a jerkbait that gets down to that 10 to 12 foot range is a must. The reason I'm grabbing or picking up the flash point is because of that blade right there. It does two things. It provides flash, the most important thing. It's a different flash point under the water that the fish haven't seen. It's a small, unique profile that mimics a small bait fish. The deep will get you down to that 10 to 12 foot range and reach those deeper suspended fish.
The Yamaha VMAX V6 SHO continues to deliver the level of performance that pro bass and multi-species anglers demand. Underneath a bold and aggressive new look, an upgraded charging system with 40% more charging power meets the amped-up demand for today's advanced electronics. The VMAX SHO, raw power, reliability, and exhilarating performance for every angler who loves the sport enough to invest in the best. Yamaha, reliability starts here.
Bassmaster halftime show presented by Bass Cat Boats. Second week in a row we spend in the Lone Star State of Texas. This time, south end of the state in Orange, Texas, Sabine River. And we've been watching the action all day long, but it's time for it. You've been waiting for it. The award-winning Bo Knows, and of course, there's no Bo Knows without Bo. Steve Bowman, what do you know today?
I know that it's kind of nice to sit down at the halftime show. This is kind of different, isn't it?
I bet you do a lot of it. This is your first time sitting on camera.
I try to stay off the camera. But the number one thing that I know, and looking through the numbers, is that the Sabine River is surprisingly consistent. Every time we come here, it's terrible, it's worse than the last time. But the reality of it is from a winning standpoint, a leading standpoint, it is surprisingly consistent. And to make that point, we've had 5 events here. Of 3 of those, the day one lead was the exact same weight of 15 pounds, 10 ounces.
Wow.
I mean, you just don't see that. I mean, you know, the heaviest was Hackney. He had 16.3, but that included a 6+ pounder, right, which is kind of like a 12-pounder at Lake Fork, you know. The lightest was Brock Mosley last time we were here at 14.7. And but all of them within a 1 pound, 1 few ounces pound margin from that 15.10. So if you want to put your chip on a number, put it on 15.10 for Sabine. So another thing is you know, it seems like you've talked to anglers, we talk to anglers, we see the social and everything. It's going to be terrible, it's going to be tough. But the toughest event that we've had here was 2013. That was when we had the lowest average, which was you know, it took 5 pounds a day to make the cut, top 10. But that was when we could fish all of Texas and all of Louisiana. And it was the lowest weights that we weighed in at this site.
Was that the Chris Lane year?
No, that was the Todd Faircloth year.
Okay.
So the other part of that is I think that it's really interesting, and Jay Chikariat is making the case for it. This has been a bellwether event for Angler of the Year. All the exception of the first one. Aaron Martins finished 85th and won that year, overtook Edwin Evers at St. Clair. But since then, every time we've been here, the AOY, the eventual AOY that year has been in the top 10 at this event. That includes Welcher in 7th at 2023, Seth Fider, 2021, he was 6th. 2018 was Justin Lucas, he was 10th. In 2015, Aaron won it again, and he was 3rd.
Wow.
And then you got Chikariat, who's making a, you know, if you would have asked me coming in here, this was going to be where he was going to struggle. But he's got nothing but green pastures in front of him. You know, every tournament from this point forward kind of is in his wheelhouse, if not in his house. And he's showing out. This is one of those deals that we had this conversation at dinner last night. I was like, I love it when you see a Chikariat and a Browning and Tyler Williams, because, you know, those guys can't fish. The heck they can't, because this is a fishing tournament. And it's the same fishing tournament that it was in 2013 as it is in 2025. Consistent numbers, same conditions.
And if you're Jay, like coming to this tournament, it's super nerve-wracking because, we just talked about it last segment. There's such a fine line between having a really good event here and a really bad event. Like, three guys could all get 20 bites a day, but one guy could do extremely, significantly better than any of them just by having one 3-pound bite.
I'm still just fishing. I have a lot of places that I wanted to fish, but obviously you can tell there's just been boats on everything. So I've literally just been keeping the trolling motor in the water and just fishing everything that looks good in front of me. I just fished an entire oxbow and caught like one dink, and then I got to the very end of it and I popped a 1.5-pounder and a 2.5 pounder, an absolute giant for here. 2 biggest fish I've caught ever here. So things are going my way, to say the least. And yeah, my decision making right now is, I don't know, this boat traffic is a little bit concerning. Obviously, I'm sitting good where I'm at right now, so I don't have a lot to stress about, but there's a lot of used water. That's a fact. These fish are not the smartest fish. When you put it in front of them, they tend to bite. So it gets tough when, there's probably 40 or 50 other elite anglers in this area. And, it's tough to get them behind people. It really is. These guys are so good. They don't miss much. Fortunately, I got 2 of the fish I guess they missed this morning, but man, it's been crazy. I can literally do no wrong. It's just been my year. I don't know what it is. Obviously, there's still a lot of time to fish, but coming into today, I was really nervous. I think everybody was really nervous, and I still can just do no wrong. Everything is just happening for a reason. If I'm meant to catch them, if I'm meant to catch them. If I'm not, I'm not. It's really not up to me.
So, 40 years of covering this sport. Interviewing the AOY at the end of the year. That statement that he just made is consistent from 1985 to 2025. These guys said, don't know what it is. I just couldn't do anything wrong. It just worked. There's your AOY right there.
You're calling it. Halfway through the season, you're calling it. It's done.
I'm putting my money on JP. I am doing it.
See you in August. A lot of that has got to do confidence. when you're making those decisions,
sure,
and you're not toiling over them. And Jay is fishing lights out from here, 10 killer. Obviously got to catch him still throughout this. He's 1 day in. We got 3 more days, but we catch him with 10 killer. Then he's going to St. Clair where he's 1. Then he's going to La Crosse where, he knows it very well.
And you're not going to completely fall out at La Crosse with his skills.
Yeah.
He's got to have
or St. Clair. Yeah.
Right. So.
He has given us no reason to believe he's not going to catch him. But I'm going to give you guys some reason to debate here. We're going to go over some TH Marine Bassmaster Pick'em Challenge. And let's start it off. Matchup number 1. 2 previous champions from here, Brock Mosley versus Jason Christie. Who are we going with, Bowman? Making you go first.
I'll be honest with you. I think Jason Christie is probably the elite of all elites when it comes to this field right here. But on this fishery and the way it's fishing and the way I know that Brock Mosley is used to this kind of thing, I got to go with Brock on that.
Going Brock. Mercer, who are we going with?
On paper, it's all Brock. I think Christie's reputation here is a lot bigger than it is. He'll be the first one to remind you of that. He's won here, but he's also missed the cut like 4 times here.
Mm-hmm.
But I just got a feeling Christie, you look at the rest of the season for him, like I said, for securing.
Yeah.
He leaves here, then he goes to 10 killer where he lives. Then he goes to St. Clair where he has won before. He's obviously won here. And then the final event of the year in La Crosse, he's not won there, but he should.
Perfect. Perfect.
That's right.
All right, matchup number 2. Got the aluminum rig wrangle here. We got Bill Lowen versus John Cox. Bowman, where are we going?
I love John Cox, but I'm going with Bill Lowen. He fished. This is the Ohio River where he grew up, and he just understands what's happening here. This isn't. John is going to catch him, but I think Bill understands if he makes it to day 3, he understands what's going to take place here.
Mercer.
Low and fishing lights out, made every cut this year. Again, on paper, Lowen screams, but John Cox was on the podcast this week, so I got to go with Cox. I'm totally impartial.
I like it. All right, matchup number 3, Flipper's Delight. Greg Hackney versus Seth Feider.
Oh, my Lord.
This is a tough one.
You got
Bowman,
and I got to go first again?
100%.
All right, here's the deal. If we were at the funny thing is, if you go to a place like Mille Lacs, then you're going to say Seth Feider, Seth Feider, Seth Feider. You come to a place like this, it's going to say Hackney, Hackney, Hackney. But on paper, Mercer's paper, Seth Feider is really strong here, and he's fishing lights out. And I'm going to go with Seth.
I hate to even do this because I never pick against Greg Hackney.
Shouldn't.
But Seth Feider was my pick at the beginning of the season to win Angler of the Year. And if that pick's going to pan out, he's got to catch him here. I'm going Seth Feider.
I like it. That is certainly a tough one. And the final matchup, it's been a reoccurring one for the last couple weeks. Jay Securit, Will Davis Jr. I think right now the picture is pretty clear of what we know anyways.
I got
what we know. So, Bowman, where are we going?
I'm going Jay Securit. I just got a feeling.
Yeah, I bet you do. Mercer?
Jay's the easy pick. Any sorry sucker could pick him because we've been watching him all day. I'll make it more interesting. I'm going to say that Jay obviously has caught him, but I believe Will Davis will catch him.
100%.
They're both going to catch him here this
100%.
week. On paper, back to that piece of paper we keep talking about going into this event, you would have leaned for Will Davis.
For sure.
So just so we're not seeing him, I'm saying Will Davis still shows out.
Oh, if they were different buckets, I would have Will Davis in my fantasy team for 100%.
TH Marine Fantasy Pick'ems, and you can play along at home. Check the QR code and get your picks in. Kyle, Jesse, you set the brackets, so you make them interesting.
Try to make them as difficult and as fun as possible. Those are the two criteria.
It's a perfect explanation of Bono's.
There you go. Difficult and cranky.
Difficult and fun. It's always been fun hanging out with you guys.